Hey guys, welcome back to another review for One Piece chapter 1166 called New Tales. Now, what a tragic chapter, man. Like everything, I don't want to say the word disappointment. There's some things that I feel disappointed in, but it's a tragic chapter because everything that I don't want to happen is sort of happening. Everything you really didn't want to happen is happening. So, and the worst part is the start of the chapter, we see Zebek and we get confirmation the curse can be lifted. At least, maybe not confirmation, hard confirmation, but we see that he is back to his senses. And you have him saying something. He's saying he can talk, and Roger and Garp are passed out. This is the definition of an extreme difficulty fight. They are knocked out. They gave every ounce of hockey left. And Zebek can feel something. The island is going to collapse. You can't be passed out now. Get up. And from the fog, we see the rat himself, the father of, because they call Shanks a rat. So the father of rats, Garling, comes out, and it's so tragic. I almost feel it would have been better not to see Zebek alive. You know, it could have just been better that he was ended by Rocks and Garp, but we see them come out of the shadows. They have to run. In Zebek's mind, he's thinking they have to run. Thank you for saving me. And we see, thank you for stopping me. And we see that we don't have confirmation he's dead because of the panel, right? But he was basically killed by Garling. Cheap shot, 2 HP, kills Zebek. Ah, man, I almost prefer that we didn't see that he was still left alive. And later, another panel adds more frustration. I'll get to it in a little bit regarding the crew. So they're saved. I mean, the literal next panel is they're saved. Garp and Roger are saved by Gabon and Rayleigh. And they're immediately asking what Garp is. They're awake. They feel they're conscious a little bit. What happened to Rocks? Rocks okay? Why are you helping the enemy? I'm your enemy, etc. So they're asking about Rocks, and Rayleigh gives the word that he was killed. So he's dead. But that begs the question: what would have happened if Whitebeard would have shown up? Like, Oda had everything to do here perfectly, right? Whitebeard would have shown up because I cannot believe or fathom that Whitebeard would have said, hey, my captain betrayed me. And he left, right? And he leaves. It just doesn't jive. It doesn't add up. He should have, like, the layup is there again. Oda just wrote it perfectly. Garling shows up. Whitebeard would have tried to get to his captain in time at the last final moment. Maybe he did, and we get a later panel for it, but it would have been better if it was added here because now it feels like a weird retcon. But anyway, Whitebeard would have shown up. He would have been just a little too late to save his captain, which is would have added up with saving Ace, you know? So he would have shown up, gotten the scar he's supposed to get, and failed to save his captain as his crew, and then you have Gabon and Rayleigh save their captain, or save Roger and Garp. The layup is there. The writing is perfect. The writing is right there. I don't like how this ended up. This one's really disappointing for me. Because at least Zebek would have, been killed, fine, acceptable. But what happened to Whitebeard? Anyway, that's my one disappointment on the chapter. In that regard, maybe forgot. Anyway, this time we see the island swallow up. The island disappears. It mentions what everybody's doing. Everybody's getting healed up again. And it proceeds to tell us that there's going to be new tales spawned from this event. And Also begs the question: how long was Shanks inside that treasure chest? Because Roger was recovering, and this is an extreme difficulty fight where you know, Luffy would be out for days. Was Roger out for a day? A day makes sense, but like, whatever. Anyway, I was just overthinking that. They find Shanks, the respectable crew, respects for his captain to wake up, and they open all the treasure chests, all the loot with their captain, and they find baby Shanks. So that's how Shanks ends up on the crew, on the ship at least. Everybody around the world sees the headlines. Rocks is dead. Rocks has disbanded. The Rocks pirates are no more, right? So how does everybody just forget that? It was on the newspaper. And Garp is regarded the hero. So they kind of tie the event of Rocks being disbanded and killed with Garp being a hero. Anyway, tough questions, but tough questions, no answers, and we won't get answers. Anyway, Garp is talking to Sengoku, giving their form of what happened, and Sengoku mentions that if they end up being insane, I'm just gonna turn a blind eye. And of course, Garp is very simplistic in his form of justice. Gorosei, those people, they're just plain bad. They're not just. Whatever happened on that island is not just. But in Sengoku's case, it doesn't matter. Working under somebody that's not fully good, you just follow their sense of justice. Is more just than wrong, I guess. I don't know. So we continue with them getting into a predicament, a fight, a little scuffle, right? Saying how could you do that? How could you say that? And if you go any more corrupt, if you go corrupt, I'll end you myself. Basically keeping Sengoku in line. But I always feel like it's Bum Goku because I feel like the only time he's ever referenced as being equal to Garp is when Roger says, "Bring Garp or Sengoku to face me," or when Shiki goes to face the Marineford when he goes to fight off, right? And that's where he gets held and Impo down. And then we get a moment where Loki finds out the news and he gets a flashback of him talking to Zebek, trying to join the crew, obviously continuously trying to join the crew, doesn't get to. But he says, you remind Rocks, you remind me of Nika. You are Nika, actually. And he says, who is that? Which is weird that Rocks doesn't know who Nika is, but he knows who Joy Boy is. Uh, yeah, he does. He questions it. And he says the warrior of liberation who will destroy the world laughing. So I feel like there are two versions of Nika. Like Vegapunk said, there the devil fruits are people's wishes come true or their desires come true. They desire for a Nika that saves the world, which Luffy would have, and a Nika that wants to destroy the world, which might be the devil fruit Harold has. I don't know. Maybe it's the darkness fruit. I don't know. It could be the darkness fruit. Maybe awakening the darkness fruit and it ends up being very no. Anyway, just let me not rant off on there. But of course, he's so sad about Zebek's passing, and also Zebek mentions that there are the Gali Ra are somewhere out there in the world and they can be mobilized because of your dad. Now, what does he mean by that? Because the letter that Ja Rule had was that they were the last of them might have been killed off, right? But we don't know if they're all still alive, if any of them are still alive, or if they're all dead and they will be revived, which would be Moria's devil fruit. You can bring people back to life, sort of, with their bodies, or a different devil fruit that brings them back. I don't know. Anyway, it's weird. We really want to know what devil fruit Harold, or Loki in this case, has, which we will get soon. But the wording that they say why both of them aren't working together is because of love. Now I can't put together why because of love, other than Harold loves his people so much that he's willing to go the extra mile to work with the world government and ignore anything Zebek has to say about them. I don't know. I think that's the case. And we see that Loki has a book that fits in the palm of his hand. It's a tiny book, but he's reading something. And I don't know if that is something he's written about Zebek's life, if that's something that Zebek gave him about his plans, his history, the story, or everything he knows about the world, maybe. I don't know. But he has a book, can't make out any of the pictures that are in there, but it is human sized. So it might be something that he gave him. We'll hopefully find out in the soon future. And the next disappointing part, although it has to be written this way, I feel, right? But Harold sees a giant or hears about a giant that does something bad to humans. And there are no casualties, but he is taking taking his frustration out on this giant because they're like, hey, he's out cold, you can stop now. And he just keeps wailing on the giant that did bad. And he says, I didn't help my best friend. He was my closest friend, and as he begged me for aid, I didn't help him. I left him to die. And those words sting, man, because he asked for your help. He nearly begged at this final moments for your help, and you turned you turned away to be in favor of the world government. And of course, he doesn't know the evils, but if he did, man, that would have been a different story. But Sebek should have said something. No, there's so many what ifs in the scenario. But now he has to fully commit with the world government because of what happened. It's almost like the moment when Garp. Oh, and then Garp throws him the key. I forgot. When Garp let Ace die in Marineford, and he was so frustrated, but he had to go through with what happened, the consequences of the action, right? Which also reminds me, just to pivot real quick, 180, Garp throws Dragon the key in the... Wait, did I get to... Oh, it's next. That's next. I thought we passed it for some reason. Anyway, Harold is... There's no turning back now. He doesn't want any giant to do anything bad, right? All to help out humans. We go back to Navy HQ, where Dragon is held in a cell. And I would have wanted this to be a little more fleshed out with Dragon and Garp, because it's father and son. It's time to talk about what the hell just happened in God Valley, right? Come on. And all we get is, I'm going to leave the Marines. Perfectly natural response with what the hell just happened. And Garp says, okay. And Garp says, Dragon says, I despise you. And Garp just says, okay. And he drops him the key. Now, what the hell is that, Garp? First of all, yes, he's your son. Yes, it makes sense you're saving your son, but why did you not save Ace? What the hell happened there? Anyway, we're not talking about that right now. He saves Dragon, he drops him the key, he gets out, he escapes, he joins the revolutionaries, but there's no conversation. I despise you, I get it 100% because of what the hell just happened, what the hell what Dragon just witnessed on that island. How can you possibly stay on the Marines? Now, Garp and Dragon had the same exact reaction, but Dragon was more aggressive. Garp said, let those people on the ship. He had more authority, whereas Dragon did not. He was a recruit, but he said, I am going to have them on this ship, and we are going to save them. And he pointed a gun at higher-ups. I think he's justified because of his position. Garp, they can't say no to him. He's vice admiral. He is probably the highest ranking person there, and the only one that can be stronger than even an admiral at that point. So he's the highest ranking, but Dragon as a recruit couldn't have ordered anybody around, so he had to take a more drastic measure. So the same order, just different authority level. We go back to Elbaf where Harold is saying, I've made up my mind, it doesn't matter about appearances. And he goes to his kids, and it feels like a weird, almost goodbye moment because he tells them, you're my precious sons, and I want you both to get along so you can take care of Elbaf and support Elbaf. And he goes to Marine HQ, Marine Navy HQ, and in there, it's almost like he is. I feel like he almost feels like he wouldn't have even come back. He rips his horns out up there in front of Navy HQ, and he says, I want to atone for the past 1,000 years of sins from giants. I will do anything, even if it means becoming a slave. Now, you get the panel with Emu, like, hey, what you, a slave? A slave, you said? It's just like, just ears perk up, like, a slave, you say. Oh, we can work something out here. So, we get a moment here where I'm guessing this is that moment where they kind of signed that contract. Hey, we're stepping into, you're gonna be part of the world government, and they start probably drawing the circle. You're gonna be a slave, or you're gonna work under us, but you have to agree to this contract. And it's like a Dommy Reversey probably moment. We'll see. I don't know what's gonna happen in this next part, but that is the end of the chapter. No break next week. So what can possibly happen? The the flashback continues, and I'm guessing we're gonna get one or few more panels left, right? Because we're gonna have Loki being older. We're gonna have Harold being taken over in the castle. We're gonna get that that teleportation circle put in the center of the castle, and we're gonna have Jarul and, well, now the sword makes sense, right? Jarul's definitely going to get stabbed across the head by, what's it called? By Harold. And Loki's probably going to dispel the curse by dropping an immense amount of Haki, or Shanks. Shanks can drop an immense amount of Haki and dispel the curse because they're also on the island as it's happening. So somebody has to dispel the curse and take care of Harold. And we got to figure out who that can possibly be. Now. So we get Sommers, who said Scopper Gaban. Scopper Gaban is already on the island, so he's probably going to be able to fight Sommers, and he give him that PTSD moment in that flashback instead of it being in God Valley. But yeah, I'm just so disappointed a little on Whitebeard turning his back on his captain. He didn't show up to go face Garling. Oda can fix it by adding up 2 panels showing Whitebeard shows up, the captain is passed away. He fights, and Garling can be just a little too strong, or they're fighting and he just gets gassed out because of the healing factor that they have. Anyway, I mean, they can fix it, just add a few panels. I just feel like there is a fumble there by Oda not having Whitebeard go back. But let me think. Anything else on the chapter? It's a good enough chapter. Of course, it's written that it has to be tragic. Rox, of course, died without... It's one of the only times I think that Rox has been... A D-Clan member has been shown that they died without smiling. At least we didn't get that confirmation of a smile because they haven't lived a life... I mean, he got what he wanted. He got Eris and Teach to leave the island successfully. I don't know if he thinks they were successful, or if he knows he was successful, but maybe due to not living life how he wanted to, he died without smiling. And it is a tragedy. It is a tragic tale. We have a character that, for all intents and purposes, was told to us in the world government's view as a bad dude. And he's a bad dude, but I wanted him to win. I wanted him to succeed. From the beginning, we know that he was meant to fail. And as the flashback goes, he is a charismatic, strong character that has good values, even in crew, even in his carrying his lineage, his family, everything. He has a goal. He was setting it out. He's not extremely terrible, and you wanted to hate him, and you ended up really liking him. He's honestly one of the better written characters for me, and his motives, everything else, of course, is just a tragedy. Tragedy that he everything seemed to not work his way, and man, it's sad. It's sad to see one of the goats leave. You know. I don't I think he's passed away. I don't. Some people are saying he might be still be Dami reverse seed. He could have been taking control over again and just been used as a puppet. I don't think so. I think that's a end to the tale of Zebek. So let me just go through the chapter real quick. I think that's everything I wanted to cover. And of course, guys, I'm doing some shorts on opening some packs. Well, not me. My fiance ended up cleaning up so much and having a dedicated wall for One Piece. I got some cards in the back. I'm doing some shorts for opening packs. I have some Phantasmal Flames to open. I'm opening OPO5s and I'm putting them in shorts. Please let me know if you want me to open some other packs, something else. But of course, that's it for me, guys. Please leave me a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one.